Welcome back to this next installment in the series on Karaka, the hand of God. Karakatva is about significators. Various planets, different planets signify different things, and it's important to know these significations so that you're able to properly analyze the chart. Okay. In fact, in traditional literature, um, um, classics like Jataka Parijata or Vritrashastra or Brajataka and all of these, the initial chapters you will invariably have shlokas which is describing what a planet is indicating, what all things a planet indicates, right? Here I'm taking one particular literature and one particular book and just focusing on that, and I add tidbits from here and there. Please see my previous videos in this, especially the very first one, which is about which is giving the introduction, the background, the importance of what is the meaning of karakas, why they are important in Jyotish, right? In a nutshell, you need two things, karaka and bhava, to show or signify something. The karaka is showing that aspect which is not in your control, which is something you're given, as if given from God, given from destiny, given by society, whatever. While bhava is what you want, your attitude. Okay. With this, I move ahead and we'll be covering the Karakatva of Mercury today. So we have covered Sun, Moon, Mars, right? And now we'll be covering Mercury. Uh, Mercury is about Vidya, learning. So it's about going to school. It's about being a disciple, being a student. So all these things are related to that, right? Having said that, when you talk of Vidya, learning, academic learning, sitting in a school and learning, um, that is related to the fourth house. Okay, so I'm also telling you the bhavas related to these significations. But being a student is like a son or a child to the teacher, and hence that is related to the fifth house. Okay, uh, and so when we talk of learning over here, you may like some subject, you may not like some subject. That doesn't matter. For Mercury, it's like in a school. Okay, I have to learn history. I have to learn geography, mathematics, physics, and all these things. I may like mathematics. I may not like geography, but I have to learn all of that. So that's why it's Vidya. It's the whole gamut of learning which is given to you. Some you may not like, the one which you like, and you develop an interest and you go deeper and deeper into that subject, which becomes like a hobby for you. That is not related to the fourth house, that is related to the fifth house, and that is a very different thing. That is not Vidya then. Okay. Because then you are trying to digest that knowledge, and that becomes jnana, because it is something you incorporate. Oh, everyone gets knowledge in a classroom, but there are some who think about it, try to understand, make that learning their own, right? That is not Vidya, that is Jnana. So I'm trying to make the difference or distinction quite clear. So this Vidya. Second is Bandhu. Bandhu is translated as relatives. And I told this last time, the word Jnati in case of Mars is also a relative. So how do we understand the difference? And honestly, if you go to the Sanskrit dictionary, they also translate it as relative, right? But in Sanskrit, we also have something called nirukta, etymology, and you try and understand the meaning of the word basis how it is constructed. So as I said, Jnati is coming from Jna. Okay. I see. I'm not a Vyakaran expert, so I may be wrong in terms of the specific root or dhatu I'm using. So bear with me. But anyone would agree that it is related to Jna, which is typically used for knowledge, uh, having knowledge of something, uh, being aware of something, okay, recognizing something, all that is in here. So there are people you're acquainted with who are your relatives, right? My um, my first cousin's daughter or something like that, okay, or my second cousin's aunt or whatever. So these are people I may know, but they are not they need not be someone I may consider very close to me. On the other hand, they may be a very distant relative in terms of bloodline, but they may be very close because of they became a friend or whatever, right? Then they would come under what is known as bandhu. The word bandhu is related to some way bandha. Bandha is like tying together, right? So you feel tied to get together with that person, right? So it's a much more, when you talk of tying together, it's much closer than knowing someone, right? You may know someone from afar. Oh yeah, I can see that person coming over here. But tying essentially means something is much closer, right? You can see a person from, say, a distance of even 200 meters or so, and you can recognize, ah, I can see that person. But for tying, you typically would tie much closer to you, right? Maybe 10 feet or 15 feet apart. I'm just trying to say that that aspect is there of how close or how far, right? And close relatives also means there's a dependency. You depend upon them, they may depend upon you, they may expect more from you, you may expect more from them, like that. That's what I think this word indicates, bandhu. And in that sense also it is related to the fourth house. So here Jnati could be sixth house, while bandhu I think is more of fourth house. Okay, someone who is close. In that sense it's also a friend, but there's a separate word that is being used for friend, so I'll come to that later. Then it is about viveka or discrimination. Viveka is a very important word in our literature. It is from a philosophical, from a spiritual standpoint, viveka is a very important thing to have. And in that sense, discrimination means a very whole lot higher level thing. Discrimination between the self and not self, between real and unreal, between that which is eternal and temporary, and so on and so forth. But in general, to be able to discriminate, meaning to differentiate, like I showed one example over here, Bandhu versus Jnati. Both may mean relative, but what is the difference? Why are you using Bandhu? Why are you using Jnati? If you're using two words, there must be some different connotation. So something which is similar, you're trying to differentiate, and you're using Viveka for that. Okay, so I try to relate in the same breath, two different words. I'm trying to explain the same context, Bandhu and Viveka. Okay. Viveka, which house could it be related to? See, I believe it is related to the first house because you need intelligence to be able to discriminate, to differentiate between things. Okay. And by the way, when Mercury is in Lagna, it is in Digbala, so it is quite strong. So, and Viveka is some very higher level quality. Then we talk of Matula. Matula means what we call Mamaji in Hindi, maternal uncle, mother's brother. So, and that would be related to the sixth house. Then we have Suhrida. Suhrida, Hrida means heart, right? And Su meaning good, auspicious, nice, right? So, someone with whom you have a good heart. So, someone who is a friend. Friend in the sense of you feel very nice with them, they feel very nice with you. You can chat along with each other for 1 hour, 2 hours. You don't realize where the time went past. And you just enjoy being with each other, sharing your innermost secrets with each other. Hrid is heart. So, what is inside your heart, you're feeling very happy sharing it with them, and they feel very happy sharing it with you. Just enjoy. So, that is what we mean by Sukrita, right? Uh, 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 Now you may ask, okay, bandhu is a word, so bandhu could also be a friend. So bandhu, the word indicates about some kind of dependency. Sometimes you may have, let's say, your brother or sister. You may be dependent upon them. They may be dependent upon you, and all that. There's a lot of uh, ties binding you together, but you may not really enjoy being with them. Like a friend, you can't be like spend maybe 1 hour talking to them and all that. Well, you may have a friend separately who's having no blood ties with you whatsoever, but you just enjoy spending time with them. That is suhrida. Okay, sometimes a bandhu can be suhrida also, right? But it's important to differentiate between these. In that sense, I think this suhrida also indicates the fourth house. Okay, how to differentiate, that is where we go into advanced jyotish, right? Whether with mercury and fourth house related, how do you know whether it's a bandhu, whether it's sukhrida? Okay. uh, See, mercury in fourth house, by the way, if mercury is in fourth house, it is in what is known as marana karakasthana. So mercury is not very happy, but mercury can be fourth lord also. But then if it is, say, afflicted, then you feel bit bound. While if it is, say, with benefics, say Mercury is with Jupiter, Mercury, I mean, Mercury and Moon have a bit of tense relationship, but still moon is a benefit, right? So then you may feel suhrada kind of feelings. But if it Mercury is afflicted, say it's with Rahu, say it's with Mars, okay, you may have feelings of anger, but yet you are bound with someone, can't help it, right? I'm just speculating. I'm not saying this is everything know for sure, but I'm giving you ideas, you can test it out. Then you have Vak. Vak means speech, and that is related to the second house. Mercury is someone who is very clever in speaking. They have what is known as the gift of the gab. They can speak very easily, and they love talking. They are quite talkative also. Okay, so that is what it would be. Then karma. Karma means action or work, and Mercury is the Karaka for 10th house, which is related to karma or work. And in this sense, it's related to the 10th house. That's what we're talking about. Okay. So yes, these are the significations of Mercury, and next time I will cover that of Jupiter and so on. Thank you for being with me, and please share your comments and any questions you have. Thank you.